I believe everyone has a story to tell. And I believe everyone deserves a little pampering. Welcome to Mannies with Grannies. I'm your host, Tiffany Marino. Join me while I sit down with a woman over 70 and get to know her while giving her a manicure. Welcome to this episode of Mannies with Grannies. Today, I'm with Sheila.
I've lived in so many places. I was resident of the month one time, and they asked me where I lived. And I started naming these places, and I got to the 6th place, and I said, no, I'm going to stop. And they said, there's more? And I said, there's more. But I can't remember. You know what I mean? Now, if you ask me today, maybe I'll say 2. I don't know. But I was born in Maine. From Maine, we went to Virginia. From Virginia, went to Puerto Rico. From Puerto Rico, I went to West Virginia. From West Virginia, I went to New Jersey. See, it goes on and on and on. And there was a few more, but then I graduated from Sherman, New York. I was there because my dad was in the service for this guy, and the guy got out, and he wanted us to be someplace close. So I had a little brother, myself, my mom, so I went to Sherman. And that's where I graduated from. I thought the love of my life, my high school boyfriend, had gone to California, so the year I graduated, I went to California. And I lived out there for 35 years, and I didn't want to come back, but I couldn't afford it anymore. And Denise, that's my daughter, Denise wanted me to live with them. They have a home out there, but no, we're close, but that doesn't work. But I miss them. Times like around Christmas, I get kind of moody. So excuse me if I get moody with you. No, I won't. I guess there's a couple more places, but I think I've told you enough places. And everybody says, wasn't it hard to have friends? It was easy to make them. But when you made them, you knew somebody was going to be leaving within 3 or 4 years. It was hard. But I wouldn't have traded my life for anything. The traveling. I can't believe I've been back here all this time. I came back about 30 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. I used to go out. But now, it's so hard to fly. I just don't go. I don't go out. But like at Christmas time, it's not one of my better times. But I'm so lucky she calls me every day. So I'm jumping all over. But when I was in the hospital the last time at WCA, I didn't know where I was. It was a horrible place. There was no phone, nothing. And my doctor came in. I said, is this a psych unit? He said, no. I said, is it a place you bring people up when they're going to die? He said, no. I moved here the end of August, and I broke my hip in December. And I didn't fall down the stairs. I was going down the stairs. It was dark in that room, which it shouldn't have been, and I missed the 2 bottom steps and landed on my hip. And I knew right then. And what went through my mind was, I don't know why this, I'll never be able to wear jeans again, and I'll never be able to dance again. But you know what? I wear jeans all the time, and I can dance. I was dancing the other day, and I didn't even realize it. I was dancing when the band was here, and right in the middle of the song, I said, oh my God, I'm dancing. Because I love to dance.
How did that feel?
It felt good. It felt really good. It didn't hurt at all. I didn't hurt the next day. But when I was at Heritage Park, they had me do a therapy twice, but they let me do it 3 times a day. I have a walker, but I don't use it only about going outside, or if my leg hurts, I use it.
Thinking back to all the places you lived, did you have a favorite place?
California. Yeah. I was a hippie. This lady that lives here, I thought she was my friend. One day she said, you're too old to be a hippie. I said, oh, what's hippie? They're dirty. I said, are you calling me dirty? And then she started telling me who I can hang around with, who I can. I just got up and walked out. But I wasn't dirty. I went to Haight-Ashbury.
You went where?
Haight-Ashbury. It's in San Francisco, and it's a horrible place. It's a boot town full of hippies. But there's people that take advantage. I mean, every time you turn around, somebody's offering you a joint or something. But it was dirty. But other than that, I like being, I don't know what a hippie is, you know.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what does it...
I think it's the state of mind. That's what I think. I don't know. That's the closest. I mean, were you a flower child? Yes, I wore flowers in my hair till I went to Tanglewood. I never quit wearing them. I wouldn't miss that time for anything. Because I was there in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and I saw Janis Joplin. She was doing a concert outside, And the proceeds were going to go to a Hell's Angel that was in prison for murder. And it was like, oh, I don't care, I'm going to see her anyway. She did have a bottle of Southern Comfort in her back pocket, and she fell on the stage, fell right on her face. She got up and smiled and just started singing again. She was good. She screamed a lot, but she screamed nice, I guess. I have a poster in my room. I've seen the Stones 4 times, and that's not because I like them, but I saw them in California, and that was bad. That was the time the Hells Angels was security, and a couple of people got shot. And I was like, oh my God. Then I saw them in Cleveland. I saw them in California, New York, Ohio. Saw Bob Dylan.
That's really cool. So you're a music fan.
Oh, I love music. I'm not this great dancer, but I danced a lot. I know that my favorite thing is shopping. Not anymore, though. I shop online more now. I think a lot of people do.
Do you have a computer or use your phone?
No, I use their laptop downstairs.
Did you end up marrying your high school sweetheart?
Yes, we were married for 18 months, and we only lived together a year. Isn't that funny? When he was my high school sweetheart, I got married in Las Vegas at 3:30 in the morning. Then the taxi, the driver had a big white cowboy hat on. He said, "Little miss, you didn't come here to marry this man, did you?" I said, "Yes, I did." He said, "You're making the biggest mistake in your life." And I said, "Do you think so?" He said, "Yes, I do." I said, "Do you tell all the girls that?" He said, "Yes, I do." But it was weird. And then when we didn't get along, I just never forgot him saying that. After we got married, so romantic, went to this place of gambling, one of the clubs, and I won $500. But I was 17, so they weren't going to give it to me. I wasn't old enough. So my husband said, "You've been serving her drinks all night, and now you're not going to give her the money." So he walked away, and I thought, oh, he brought it back, all in silver dollars.
Was he the same age as you?
Oh, he's 1 year older. He's in California. Neither one of us ever remarried. And that's strange because I was young. We both were young. I don't know what else I've done. A lot compared to some people.
You had your daughter?
She's 57. I have 2 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. I've never seen the great-grandchildren. I have pictures. I've talked to them on the phone. My granddaughter and her family just moved to Colorado. And my daughter's heartbroken, but I know how she feels. You know, things happen. My daughter is an artist. She oil paint. She has this job, and she does the artwork for companies. And my son-in-law, he's into computers big time. He owns 3 computer companies in Canada.
It sounds like you're really proud of your family, and they're all doing well. What does that mean to you? I'm
so happy, and I feel so lucky, so fortunate that they're all doing well.
How old were you when you had your daughter?
I was like 18, 19, something like that.
Do you remember finding out you were pregnant?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he didn't want the baby. He said it wasn't his.
Would you like to pick out a nail color?
I feel like I'm just babbling on to you. And
No.
I don't know. You pick it up.
I don't know what colors you like.
I like pink, like that. Or
This is actually what I was thinking for you.
I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty. So while you were enjoying your life and living your hippie life,
yeah,
you had a baby.
Yeah. Yes, I did. I had a baby. I worked, too. I had to work.
What did you do for work?
I was a cocktail waitress. I raised my daughter being a cocktail waitress and a bartender. Because I worked in the airport, LAX, in a small kind of place. And businessmen would fly back and forth and back and forth. And after a couple of years, they got to know me. And, you know, it did me good. And a couple of them I did go out with to dinner one time. I like my life. I don't think I regret anything. The only thing I regret is that I have to come back here when they're out there. No, but I hope I've never done anything to hurt anybody. I don't think I have. If I have, it certainly wasn't intentionally. I just love my brother too. He retired last year, and he's going on a cruise. He's never been on one. Well, he was on the ship going to Puerto Rico, but that wasn't a cruise. That was a Navy ship.
What was living in Puerto Rico like?
It was nice. We only went to school half a day, and at that time in my life, I liked it. We didn't go off the base very much. I guess it wasn't a good time because my mom got diabetes, and they had no hospital. So she had to go off base to the hospital. I don't know, I'm telling you these things and saying it wasn't so nice, but yeah, I had a nice time. I cried when I left Puerto Rico. I wouldn't care to go back. I was just like 12, 13. I was there on my 16th birthday because I remember my mom and dad gave me a white sapphire ring. And I had that. Even when Denise was born, I had it. One day I looked down and the stone was gone. I was so upset. I didn't answer your question about living in Puerto Rico, but I don't know exactly how to. I can tell you that sugar cane is not sweet if you taste the stalk. I can tell you that when they make syrup, it smells so awful all over. I can tell you I found out I was allergic to mangoes.
Did you just have the one brother?
Yeah, that's all I have. He's 12 years younger than I am. And my grandson is 12 years younger than my granddaughter. I'm funny.
What was it like having a brother so much younger
Oh,
than
God,
you?
I loved it. I remember my mom told me later, she said, we were so afraid you'd be jealous because you've been the only child for so long. But no, he was like my live doll. One time, he almost died. We stopped breathing. We lived on the base in trailers, and there was I don't know, but he worked in medicine. He wasn't a doctor, but he was something. Anyway, he did whatever he had. So Jeff started breathing again, and they took him to a hospital, and they found it wasn't nothing. Realized, oh, it was something, but, I can't remember. I remember sitting up all night long. I wouldn't go to bed. I was afraid he'd choke again. I remember my mom and my dad at different times would say, tell me, they probably didn't sleep either, I guess, because they would tell me, you can go to bed. I was 12 then. He was the best. He's just a sweetheart. He's 6'5". My dad was 6'6". My mom was 5'11".
How tall are you?
5'4".
What happened?
Probably shrinking. My dad was in the Navy for 30 years. Alcoholic. A mean alcoholic. And my mom was a nurse, and she got diabetes when she was in her late 30s. My mom passed away when she was 50. My dad passed away when he was 53. My dad was a good man, but he was such a jerk. My brother could do no wrong. Like, my brother would get drunk, and he'd come up to my house. One time, we drove the car so far out in the field, they had to get the fire engine to pull my dad's car out. My dad never said a word. Jeff could do no wrong, and I could do no right, and that's okay. And one time, he got in the ditch, and he pushed foot on the gas so long that it took the rubber right off the tires. Yeah, he was a piece of work. And they could bring him to my house like 2 or 3 in the morning, so drunk he couldn't stand up. And he's a big boy, and I was small. He was only 19 when Mom passed away. And my dad was in the Navy, so he was gone most of Jeff's growing up. So it was just him and my mom. I was in California. So when Mom died, I thought, I told him, I said, I'll be burying you next. I said, it's a hell of a thing to say, but that's the way it's looking. I was so afraid. I loved him so much, and I was so afraid something would happen to him. And I thought that would be it.
How did you help him through that time?
I couldn't. He wasn't mean, but he pretty much stayed away from me for the most part. I mean, I didn't bitch at him because it wouldn't do any good, But now he does. He's got 3 grandchildren. One of the things I love to do the most is laugh. Get you through a lot of stuff. What do they say? Laugh and the world laughs with you, crying, you cry alone. Mm-hmm. That's true. I was by myself a long time. And then here I'm by myself too. But I like people here and they're good to me. For the most part. They just want to, she just doesn't like me. And I don't care. I just stay away from her. Because if I said today the sun is shining, she'd say, no, it's not. The stars are out. But, she's off the wall and I'm off the wall.
You are 80 years young, right? How does it feel to be 80?
I just can't believe I am. I don't feel 80. And I don't want to act 80 either, you know what I mean? I don't want to act stupid either, but I guess I feel okay about it. I do.
What do you think young people should know about getting older?
I don't know. They're just going to have to lay back and kind of not quit doing everything. I don't mean that at all. But don't worry about your age. Don't worry and think, oh my God, I'm 40, what's going to happen now? You know what? That's not a lot of advice, but...
No, I like it.
I've made mistakes. I've told you most of them. And if I think more, I'll tell you. No, just enjoy. If you can enjoy yourself, enjoy yourself. I do, even here. For the most part, I do.
What's some good advice that you've been given?
This isn't advice, but I think I do it. I don't dress like I'm 80. I don't do hardly anything like I'm 80. I don't feel it. I can't tell because everybody has a different life. And maybe if I knew your life, I could give you advice, but I can't. Just for everybody, just enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Enjoy it because it goes fast. It does. I can't believe it sometimes when I'm 80. Well, yeah, I was sitting down on the couch and I started laughing and people were looking at me and what's so funny? And I said, I'm 80 years old. And they said, oh, what's so funny about that? And I said, I guess just because I'm sitting here laughing like an idiot. So I don't know. When I broke my hip, I pushed myself because that's the only way to go. I'm glad I said I would do this because
Me too.
It's been fun.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite holiday?
Christmas, I guess. But I like Halloween when I used to dress up. Yeah, Halloween was one of my favorites. Oh, I love Valentine's Day. Well, when I was with somebody, but when I got a Valentine's Day present, I loved it.
After your husband, did you have any serious long-term relationships?
I lived with a guy. Oh, I'm going to tell you this. He moved in with me. I was 27 and he was 18. My mother said, that's against the law. It's like, well, don't call the cops then.
Did you meet him at the bar?
Yep, in Sherman. And Sherman's a small town. Everybody talks anyway, you know. We were together 9 years. I've heard a lot of people say, you have one love of your life. And he was mine. When we broke up, I thought, well, I'll never do this again. I will never fall in love again, and I never have. It's stupid, but I hurt so bad for so long. And sometimes I still think of him.
Can you tell me what happened?
Yeah, he started drinking. Well, I used to smoke pot all the time. He drank, and one night he came home from the bar, and I had a little hairbrush, and he whipped it at me and hit me right on my temple. I jumped out of that bed. I didn't do anything. I didn't start anything. Next day, I said, you need to move out. Why? I said, because I was kidding. Just kidding. It was a little hairbrush. I said, I know, but maybe next time it'll be a beer bottle. Who knows? I said, I can't have my daughter around that. I've dated guys, but after him, I didn't want that to happen to me again. That was awful. That was the worst hurt. Oh, my God. It must have really hurt if I can remember after all these years like that. I've been lucky my life, I will say. Just a couple of things have happened, but...
What makes you feel lucky?
Because for the most part, everything's been okay. There's been bumps in the road. And like when my mom passed away, and those things, but they happen. That's life. But as far as living my life single, it was okay. It was all right. I don't think I answered your question, but I don't know any special thing.
Do you remember getting your driver's license?
I don't have one because in California I didn't need one. And that was stupid. I should have got one anyway. And then when I came back, when I lived in Sherman, I got a permit. And I used to drive. And even when the permit ran out, I drove for a while. And I just never got a license. That was not real smart. Yeah, that was one of my smarter moves. But in California, I could just walk to everything. There's a guy here. He says to me, Sheila, you're history. I'm like, what do you mean I'm history? He said, not many people here can say that they were alive with Woodstock and all the... Yeah, he said, you're history. He said, don't listen to her. It tells you that you're dirty. Oh, I went right through this building. Yeah, Sheila's a hippie. Hippie's dirty. I'm like, okay.
Well, I think you are lovely and amazing and interesting, and I could sit here all day and get to know you, but our manicure is over.
Yeah.
And this was lovely talking to you.
It's been lovely talking to you. And I never talk so much. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Oh, thank you for opening up to me and doing this with me.
Thank you for listening to Manny's with Grannies. I hope you enjoyed learning about someone else, and maybe even learned a little about yourself.